Hi everyone and welcome back. So this video should have gone up last week and it should have been a lovely vlog about our lovely weekend away at the Glastonbury Medieval Fair, but it's not because it wasn't. It was all a bit of a disaster really. We had an omen, we did have an omen. All of our tents go on a trailer which stays in our garage. They're the first things to go up, so it makes sense to have them on the trailer so that they're the easiest to get access to. Hubby went down to the garage to pack the van up on the Wednesday before Easter to find that one of the tyres on the trailer was not just punctured but completely dead, and there was no way we're going to be able to get it repaired or replaced before the following day. So we suddenly had to find room in the van for the tents that we wouldn't normally have expected to have to find. We got everything in, we always do, but it was a heck of a squeeze. Hubby and BFG went down to Glastonbury on the Thursday and it rained Maunday Thursday, practically all day. Last year it took them 3 hours to put up 5 tents, 2 awnings and do an awful lot of set dressing. This year, because they had to keep taking stuff out of the van and putting it back in and taking it out and putting it back in because of the rain, it took them most of the afternoon to get up 2 tents and a fire awning before they gave up. I think they really enjoyed having the fire at the end of that evening. So the following day, myself, adopted son and niece were going to be going down with some friends of ours. We left my house at 9 o'clock, got to my friend's house at 9:30, ready to make the 3-hour journey from their house down to Glastonbury. We left the house at 10:30 and arrived at Glastonbury at 5 o'clock that afternoon. Bank holiday traffic, it took us an hour and a half to get past Stonehenge. So even with a stop for a cup of tea and a wee break, it doesn't usually take us that long. We were frazzled, to say the least. We did what we could on the Friday evening, but in the end it just got too dark and we got too cold. So we sat around the fire and ate fish and chips, which meant that we had to get up really early on the Saturday morning in order to get everything set dressed before the public came in. Now, we had been warned that Storm Katie was on her way, but as far as we were aware, it wasn't due until the beginning of the following week. Well, Friday night, it blew a hoolie. Absolutely blew sideways. Our tents are very well pegged down, but even our tent, the canvas was flapping and the poles were going. It was slightly hairy. We did get up on Saturday morning expecting some casualties. Luckily, everything was still up, but it just rained and rained and rained. So whereas normally we'd have all the tents open and set dressed so that people could look inside, we didn't bother. Half the displays didn't bother going up because they would have just got ruined. And then about halfway through the morning, the wind picked up. And there was one particular almighty gust that did a huge amount of damage right across the site. One of our tents went over and then everything in that tent got absolutely soaked. And it ripped my lovely new fire awning. You saw that I extended the fire awning. It ripped that awning clean off the poles. It ripped the eyelets out of the fabric. So the awning was therefore no longer usable. Now, the whole point of having a 16-foot by 9-foot fire awning is that if it chucks it down with rain, we've got somewhere warm and dry to sit. Not anymore. The trader ahead of us, the same gust got in under his tent and shifted it about 4 foot sideways, and all his stuff went on the ground and stuff got broken. A trader a little bit further up, it shifted the centre pole, which promptly stuck its top spike through the roof of her tent. So it really was a pretty hairy day for all of us. We did manage to get a small awning up, my little awning that I usually sit under for my medicines and my cosmetics display. It's, what, 6 foot by 9 foot? It just about got the fire and the 2 benches underneath it, but it was a pretty miserable day all round. By this time we knew that Storm Katie was going to be hitting us on the Monday, so rather than have to sleep through it and then pack down through it, we decided that we would go home on Sunday night. So we told my sister not to bother coming down. My niece was a little bit wary about sleeping in her tent, as it was the one that had gone over earlier in the day. So we had her in with us as well. And instead of having jollity and frivolity in the beer tent, as we would normally do on our first night, we all went to bed early with the sulks. And we woke up on Sunday morning to glorious sunshine and clear blue skies, and everybody was happy. So we decided to make the effort and at least get a couple of the tents open so that we had something to show the public. My medicine display went up, the cosmetics display went up, all the weapons came out. And altogether it wasn't a bad day. I didn't bother videoing everything because so much of it was shut down. I really couldn't give you a good idea of what the camp would normally look like. But it wasn't a bad day. The boys all ended up purchasing new shiny sharp things. I too went shopping and bought myself new shiny sharp things. I have this, which is a Roman utility knife, and I shall use this for chopping my herbs in my medicine kit. I also got a slightly bigger one to go in the kitchen. It's quite a formidable looking beast, but it's actually very comfortable to hold and very easy to use. As I'm sure you can imagine, after such a lousy day on Saturday, things did get a little bit silly on the Sunday. Now, we know that BFG, who plays a Norseman, is in fact a Norseman and not a Viking. We also know that Vikings, despite popular opinion, never wore horned helmets. Nevertheless, we felt that our BFG, our Norseman, was inappropriately attired. So we went and bought him a hat. Which is now part of his permanent camp kit. So it wasn't all bad. We had quite a nice Sunday, and the public went home at 6 o'clock, and we started the process of packing down, and at 6:30 the black clouds rolled in and the heavens opened, and those things that we had managed to get dry were no longer dry. It just threw it down solidly. And what it turned out to be was the head of Storm Katie hitting us a little bit sooner than we were expecting. It took us 3.5 hours to pack the whole lot down and get off site, which is really good going. Hubby and the friend that was giving us a lift home ended up driving home at sort of 10, 11, 12 at night in 106 mile an hour winds. It was pretty hairy being a passenger, and I know very well that they were both exhausted from fighting to keep the vehicles in a straight line. But everything was absolutely soaked and just shoved into any old bag or any old box, and the whole lot got shoved into the back of the van any old how. And it's currently, most of it is now currently sitting in my dining room. You may be able to see behind me there is an area covered in clothes and things. I don't know how many loads of washing I've done. It's currently all over the house. So we've been home a week. The washing machine is on its 9th or 10th load, and we still have all of this yet to do. Most of this is bedding, all of which is absolutely soaked and or covered in mud. So as you can see, I don't yet have my dining room table back. I don't think I'm going to have my dining room back for at least another week. Now, I have been doing this for quite a while, but I have to say I've never been so pleased to be home. It was not the best weekend. Nevertheless, we are booked to go back next year. Easter is later. Hopefully the weather will be nicer. Hubby and I have decided that as we've gone up in the world, it's time for us to get a new tent. So I will shortly be buying fabric to make the hangings for the inside of the tent. We do have a new event that we've been invited to. It's called the Cow Pie Rally, and it's organised by the Surrey Young Farmers, and I will leave all the information in the box below. It's a one-day event. We won't be taking the full camp down with us, a couple of tents, and we'll be concentrating more on the displays. So if you want to come along to that, that would be lovely. I was hoping to do a DIY jacket alteration video for you at some point this week, but unfortunately, because the house is full of camp stuff still and completely disorganised, I simply don't have the space to do it. Hopefully by the end of this week I'll have cleared things out a little bit and I'll be able to do that for you for the beginning of next week. As I never got round to doing any videoing at all over the weekend, I will leave you with a little montage of photographs that we did manage to get. I hope your Easter was considerably better than ours. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, and until the next time, take care. Bye.